Welcome to the Daily Dharma, a gentle podcast where we read a philosophical story every week and reflect on how it relates to everyday life. Our focus is to use Buddhist philosophy to understand the complexity of modern life and find achievable and accessible pathways to peace. Hi everyone. Welcome to the Daily Dharma. In this episode, we'll be talking about our silent protections, how the moments of care and love in our lives offer us a silent protection when we feel that life is difficult. The story that we'll be reflecting on this theme is called The Smile, and it comes from the book Tiger, Mouse, Strawberry by Yuki Senda. Here is how the story goes. The master rarely smiled until the last day of his earthly existence. As the time of his departure approached, he turned to his students and said, "You've been my apprentices for over a decade, and you've absorbed all my teachings of Zen. Now, it's time for you to demonstrate before me everything you've learned. And whoever articulates it most clearly will receive my robes and alms bowl and become my rightful heir as master." Those present to hear this challenge turned to look at a serious face as silence reigned in the room. A student approached the teacher, and with a restrained gesture, he pushed forward a bowl of medicine, responding to the challenge posed. The master's expression became even more serious. "Is this everything you know?" he asked. At this, the student reached out and removed the bowl, placing it back in its original position. A smile spread across the master's face. "Nasty rascal," he addressed the student, his tone warm. "A decade at my side, and you've not yet glimpsed the totality of my being. Here, why don't you just accept the robe and the begging bowl, for they are yours." I have to say, this story really made me smile when I read it, because when you first read the challenge of the master, he really induces anxiety in his students because he's asking for something that almost feels impossible. The totality of a decade or more of Zen teachings in one gesture, one moment. But then he is more than happy that someone in his class actually tried to meet this challenge. And that effort enough was just all he needed to see, so he can offer up his alms bowl and his robes to someone else. And I think, to me, this kind of moment where there's a softening in a person, whether it is that we are able to witness the softening in another through how much they care and love us, such as our family members or people that we've chosen as family members. And sometimes it is our pets, like how happy Ashes is whenever I come home and how much she enjoys spending time with me, even though she has so many other chairs in the house to choose from. She chooses the one next to me. Not always, but often. These little moments of care that we get from people, just as the Zen monk offered his disciple. It's these moments of care that really form the silent protection over the people that receive them. And for me, something that was just echoing through my head this weekend was how careful I am overall as a person. I am hyper vigilant of steep stairs, of the weather, of avoiding the corners of sidewalks in case cars drive too deeply and they just miss the boundary. And for a lot of people, this voice may be stressful to have to heed so many warnings and so many kind of words of caution may sound stressful. But for me, I realize it really is the internalization of my mom and how much care and wisdom she poured into me when I was growing up. And to me, I find that I'm so grateful to have all of these little reminders to be careful, to make sure that I don't get injured, or to just take that extra care, because that's what she instilled in me as a child, as a young adult, even now, to always be careful, because she's worried for me. And that worry that I know she feels makes me want to be worried for me. And thus, I have this little form of protection in the love and care that she's given me. And I'm so grateful for that care, because even when I may not care so deeply about the situation, I know she cares. And that is a form of powerful protection, even when she's not there, and even when she is miles and miles away from the situation. And I think similarly, those tiny moments of care and connection that we have with the people, the animals, the natural settings in our lives, it creates a sense of value within ourselves that makes us want to protect everything we have in life. Just knowing that a friend of yours would worry for you if you got injured makes you more careful when you are handling things or out and about. Just knowing that there is someone, a neighbor perhaps, that is waiting to talk to you makes you want to be a little extra careful, because you know that they would be sad if they didn't get to speak to you. And I would say too that this even comes from yourself. When you allow yourself to soften and you understand that you have gone through so much, and yet here you are trying to live another day, trying to figure out a solution to your problems, to get through this life. And you're able to actually see how much you've worked hard and how much you've come forward from so many barriers and challenges in life. It's in those moments where we can feel very connected to ourselves, to feel so much empathy and care for ourselves. And that care is a very, very powerful form of connection and protection. And I think what's very interesting is that to me at least, it is a little bit different from the survival instinct, because for me, survival instinct is something that everyone is born with. It is instinctive, and it is more about just staying alive. Whereas I believe the protection that comes from genuine exploration and understanding and kindness towards yourself and kindness received from others is about going the extra mile. It's not just about survival. It's about allowing ourselves to be in a position to thrive, to live another day and have the energy and the capacity to smile. To me, that is what this protection really gives and provides. And it's vital for us to get this protection from ourselves and from others, because I believe it is more or less a feedback mechanism. This silent protection goes away if we stop caring genuinely about ourselves, and if we don't receive even little moments of care from those around us. And I think what's so beautiful about this silent protection that is that it could come from complete strangers and from tiny gestures that maybe on the outside may feel like nothing, but to you, you felt so touched and so cared for that that memory stays with you for years. And I have so many memories like that where I'm just astounded by how much care another person has given me. And that sense that someone cares for me, that I care for myself, makes me want to be extra careful, extra protective, and extra valuing everything I have in my life, everything I am, because I know I'm worthy of receiving that kind of love and care from others as well as myself. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I apologize for the vocal quality. I have a little bit of a sore throat, but I hope that it will clear up in the next week. It is mild, but it certainly sounds and you can hear it through the microphone. So I apologize for that, and I hope that I can go back to my normal timbre by next week. And thank you again to everyone who has been writing in. I always love reading your emails and your letters. If you have an episode request or a question or a thought you'd like to share, please email me anytime at dailydharmapodcast@gmail.com. And may you have a beautiful, safe, and joyful week ahead of you. Until next week.